This is the Great Legend, and I'm coming at you live with tonight's PPV review of Survivor Series 2018. Man, what another crazy WWE night on the pay-per-view scene. I've got three guys that are ready to chat about it. We've got Comics with Bueller, Comic Horror Chad, and C. Woodard 19. Fellas, it's so great to have you here tonight live to talk about Survivor Series. Chad, what did you think about Survivor Series?
We'll get into it. It was a good Raw.
A good Raw, man. How about you, Woodard 19? What did you like seeing tonight?
My boy Gable.
Gable was there.
Truth. My MVP of the night. Spoilers. Our truth.
Our freaking truth, man. He was awesome. Comics with Bueller, man. What did you think?
I thought it was the best show of the night.
Oh, yeah, baby. It was, I think, the only show of the night.
Yes, it was the only show, only wrestling show, and it was the best wrestling show of the night. Not of the weekend, but of the night.
Of the night. Well, let's check the chat real quick and give some shout-outs. Then we'll dive into some of these matches here. First off, we got a man right around Bueller's neck of the woods, and I'm talking Sam's Tangled Web. Sam, it is so great to have you here tonight. If y'all didn't know, Sam has guest starred on Comics with Bueller on Friday night, and then Sam and Bueller, of course, they were still together, so they hit the Comic Core, so that was freaking awesome. Next up, we got David from Beyond the Blast Doors. If you're ever looking for a Star Wars podcast, look no further than Beyond the Blast Doors and try to pry open those doors and see what David, and the third Stormtrooper have for you. Eli, a.k.a. Easy E, the freaking Game Hunter, man. And he says, are you ready for the Survivor Series? We have not one, not two, we got HME 3 comics, man. It's good to see you, HME 3. We got Comics with Bueller. We got C. Woodard 19. They're in the chat as well with this guy, OMG Chris. And boy, we had some OMG spots in tonight's matches. We're going to get to those. We got one of the best aquarium enthusiasts in all of the fish community, so great to see Fish Tropic in the house. And man, let's go ahead and get this party started. Did anyone watch the kickoff match?
Yes.
I caught most of it on the kickoff.
Man, I tell you, I thought the kickoff, they had a little kickoff match, had it was a big 10-man freaking elimination style match. It was the Usos, New Day, Sanity, the Good Brothers, and the Colognes versus Raw's team, the Revival, Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, Lucha House Party, my boys Connor and Victor of the Ascension, and the B Team. Two teams of leftovers. Just a bunch of leftovers.
Wow.
I do like Usos, and stuff like that. But I'll start, if we want to even just talk about the pre-show. I thought this match, I thought it was okay to get things rolling and warmed up. I'm going to let Woodard talk about some of the high spots by Gable, but I'm going to go ahead and just give this thing 2.5 stars. Woodard, how about you, man? Kick us off on the kickoff show.
Honestly, I thought this was the second best match of the night. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
Is this the only list? Did you only watch 2 matches tonight?
No, unfortunately, I watched everything tonight.
Oh, man.
Anyway, here's some notes I took. First off, the Colognes, they still have a job. I did not know that. I legitimately did not know they were still employed. So I was kind of happy to see Primo and Epico. After that intro that the New Day gave the Smackdown team, it would have been just absolutely stupid if they lost. Because they had this long, overblown 20-minute intro for the Smackdown tag teams. And then besides Glorious, I think all the Raw tag teams are within like 2 minutes of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, the absolute state of the Raw tag team division. Oh my God. They just need to relinquish those titles if that's their tag division. That was horrible. So some highlights for me, some hidden highlights here. Xavier Woods shouting "sweep the leg" when Kalisto hurt his leg.
Yeah.
All some Karate Kid action there. That got a chuckle out of me. I'm extremely thankful that this isn't a match type in WWE 2K19. I think if we did that in that game, the match would be at least 4 hours and lots of chair shots and steel steps, bumps.
Glitches,
so there's
too.
That. The crowd was very hot at the beginning of this match, especially when New Day was doing their thing before the match started. But as it progressed, they were more interested in the pancakes for the most part. Something dumb I kind of noticed: the Revival going high risk. I could probably hear Jim Cornette screaming about that from here in Indiana down in Louisville. I bet he hated that. But yeah, just something weird out of the Revival. They're all about, no flips, just fists. Apparently they're doing flips now too, so I thought that was kind of weird.
Tornado DDTs.
Yeah.
It's weird.
But for me, this match really started when it was just down to 4 tag teams. So on one side you had the Usos, you had the New Day, and on the other side you had Glorious Gables or whatever that team's called, the team captains, the ones without a name, and then the Revival. So I think between those 4 teams, the match was really good. Before that, the match kind of sucked, especially with the whole Lucha House Party switching partners and no one really caring or noticing stuff for Corey Graves. Graves is like, what are they doing? And there's like, I guess Freebird rules. It's like, wait, what? You can't do that. So that kind of cracked me up. But I guess just order of eliminations here. So the Colons get eliminated by the Revival. The Good Brothers eliminate the B Team. The New Day beat the Ascension. Luchas beat the Good Brothers, which was shocking. Then the Usos quickly beat the Luchas. The New Day beat Glorious. The Revival beat the New Day when Woods jumped into the Shatter Machine. That was pretty crazy. And then the Usos won with the Roman Splash, which I thought was pretty cool. Sanity got eliminated by me going and getting my pizza out of the oven, so unfortunately I missed that elimination. I apologize. But overall, I'm giving this match 3.5 out of 5. Like I said, the first half to 2/3 of this match kind of boring. Once they got it evened out, the 4 teams, I thought the action was great. While I'm talking about the pre-show, I'll cover the pre-show panel highlights for me. Spoilers, they're minimal. So, R-Truth hanging out in the women's locker room, trying to join the women's Smackdown team, had me rolling. We'll talk more on R-Truth later, but Truth hanging out in the women's locker room was really awkward and funny, so I don't even know how he was allowed in there. Drake Maverick proclaiming he had a giant's brain instead of the brain, like an actual giant brain. He has the brain of like an ogre giant. That came out wrong, so the entire panel just lost it. So that was kind of a funny moment. Apparently, Lars Sullivan's getting called up from NXT to one of the rosters, so that's super interesting. And Booker T came up with a phenomenal shirt idea for Braun Strowman. No bread, no water, just meat. Somebody print that shirt now, please. I will buy it. So that is my summary of the pre-show.
Freaking awesome pre-show, man. Oh, so Chad, that brings me to you. Did you watch the pre-show?
No, unfortunately, I did not get home in time to watch the pre-show.
Oh man,
watching it right now.
it was 2.5 out of me, 3.5 out of Woodard. What would you give it just so far based on what you're watching now and what you've heard Woodard talk about?
Say it 2.
2, yeah, just a good old 2. And that
2
leaves
for Gable.
Comics with Bueller. Man, Bueller, what did you think about the pre-show?
I was stupid.
Yeah, just a bunch of damn leftovers, right?
I saw most of it. I think I missed like the first couple minutes of the match, and I definitely missed all the entrances that Woodard was talking about. But towards the end, I thought the spots with the Revival and New Day at the end were very sloppy, and the Revival was missing some stuff, and it just didn't play off very well, and that kind of took me out of the match. And then obviously it got down to the Revival and the Usos, and SmackDown picks up their first win of the night. And we're going to
Or
keep that
did they?
ball rolling for the rest of the night, right?
Mhm.
Probably not. But I didn't think much of it. It was, it's sad. And like you said, I didn't know the Colognes were there either. I thought they were gone. And I was like, oh, I guess they're still around. So good for them. They made it on a pay-per-view. And then, like the Good Brothers, that's a good tag team, man. They deserve, an actual push eventually. And you're talking about the state of the Raw tag team division, which is there is no Raw tag team division. There's no teams that are any good. It's like just take the Good Brothers and put them over there and let them run for it for a while, But I don't know, it was kind of disappointing, and I was ready for the show to get started. So really, I'll probably give it maybe a 2.
Yeah.
A 2.
That's what it is. Sometimes these kickoff shows, they just don't live up to the hype of a kickoff show, man. Give me some Ryback or something, man.
Give me some Ryback.
The pre-show stopper. Oh man! All right, well, that's some good stuff. Let me give a big shout out again to Paul Stefanovich, Nostalgia, man. He says, howdy, legend. Paul, it's great to see you tonight. Sam says, sounds like it was something. Cable was there. Holy crap, I missed it. Eli, no, Cable wasn't there, but I bet he probably wishes he was. Stop this match.
He's got nothing on Gable.
Yeah, Cable and Gable, right? Oh, that's what he was going for. He was going for a Chad Gable, not Cable from the X-Men. You never know with these wrestling / comic book people out here. You don't know what's going on. Oh man, I don't know what he's into. Let's look at our first match though. Didn't they start? Or do you want to go? I know Woodard likes going over the segments. Was there any more segments at the start of the show, or did they just? I think there was. I think it was R-Truth came out with Carmella for that first match.
Well, we did get to see. I don't know if it was on the pre-show or the beginning of the actual show. We did get to see Bayley and Sasha officially get added to Team Raw for no reason whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. That's what it was. That's what it was.
There you go.
They took off Natalya and Ruby Riott and said they couldn't get along well as a team, and then all of a sudden they bring two people that have a storied history of not getting along together as a team. Classic WWE. It's like, where are we going here with these storylines? But we had the women's elimination match, the Raw women's team of Nia Jax, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Mickie James, and Tamina Snuka against Asuka, Carmella, Naomi, Sonya Deville, and God, who was that other one?
Mandy,
that's who it was. Mandy Rose. I don't even know. I don't even know where to begin. Chad, were you at home for this one?
I was. Now, here's my take, and I'm usually hard on the ladies, but after tonight, the ladies.
Yeah, you are.
Whoa, hello. Hard on the ladies.
The ladies actually carried this pay-per-view, and I think it's time for them to have their own show, preferably SmackDown.
Freaking nice, very nice, man. So
what I liked about this match the most would probably be they actually gave Deville and Rose some time to showcase and get some eliminations and show their, they showed some growth in the ring. And
as JR says, get their shit in. Yeah, I feel
so. If anything, the match did a fantastic job building also like a Saka and a Banks match. So I actually enjoyed this one, and I'm going to give this one 2.5 stars.
Awesome. Freaking awesome. Well, let me go next. I thought this match did what it needed to do. I also thought one important thing in the match, it gave Nia Jax some good heel heat for, showing off, the hashtag facebreaker and all that kind of stuff. I mean, so that puts her in, a good spot for some heat, maybe against Becky somewhere way, way, way down the line. I did like the whole women's invasion type angle where the SmackDown women did come to Raw to kind of hype this match up. Some good moves in here. Bayley got some good stuff in as well, so I really like Bayley getting some stuff. And Asuka was doing, what Asuka does. And her and Banks, like you said, they had some good action. And then, what was classic was when Asuka, got Bayley out of there. Pretty much Nia was just ready there for the leg drops, the trio of leg drops and a Samoan drop. I'm going to go ahead and give this one. I'll give it a 3. Because Nia got the win, gives her some more heat. Although I think she needs to go to developmental when she's not on TV and practice some more. But anyway, well, what did you think, Bueller, about this one?
So. I enjoyed the match, but the best thing about this match is listening to Corey Graves just fawn over Mandy Rose the whole time. And he's like, "Go in her face! Get out of the ring, Mandy!" I mean, he loves her, and he plays it so well. And she's a very attractive lady by far. But I thought they all looked really strong. Like I said, I love Corey Graves' comments and stuff like that. I don't know if they interact on the shows at all, because I don't watch a tremendous amount of SmackDown when it's live and stuff like that. So I watch the Hulu versions. They cut out a bunch of stuff. But I like that. I thought they all looked good. I like Asuka. I like seeing her look strong like she did. Was Nia Jax a baby face before this last Monday?
Yeah.
It depends what day it is.
Okay. So
and what bot she does.
Yeah, and then so she hits Becky Lynch, who, by the way, is supposed to be a heel. So and then she hits her and breaks her face, quote. And now she's a heel, and because she beat up a quote heel type thing. So that makes total sense.
Well, that's math. That's math. It's
classic
heel
Vince.
minus heel squared. Yeah.
But I don't like. I think it's pretty dumb that they're. I don't think her character is that great. I've never thought that it was very good and stuff. And the fact that they're going to play off this accident and play off it as a storyline now. I mean, I'm not excited to see a Becky Lynch Nia Jax match by any means. If that's something that they work to down the road, I'm not really interested in seeing that. But it is what it is, and she made her own angle. So congratulations to Nia Jax. But I thought the match was pretty good, and I liked seeing the DeVille girl. I like her a lot. I thought she looked pretty good as well. And it was pretty clean. There was some missteps here and there, but it's been worse. And so I would probably give this match probably around a 3.
Yeah, all right. Well, the women, they got out there, and, boy, they were really shining. And like you said, man, Corey Graves is just so freaking awesome at the commentary. And he's definitely the next freaking Bobby Heenan, I don't know if he'll ever be as great as Heenan, but, I mean, for the new school and all the millennials out there, this is your Bobby Heenan. So learn to love the guy. He's going to be around for a long time. Big shout-out to the Wonk, a.k.a. formerly known as the Wonky Ninja, one of the best comic book reviewers of indie comics that I've ever listened to. And we got Robert down from the middle of Texas, a.k.a. Double S Comic Reader. What is going on, man? What is going on? And Paul Stefanovich says last week it was Daniel Bryan who went crazy in response to Sam's Tangled Web that Charlotte went crazy. So there's been some crazy wrestlers, some crazy booking decisions, and crazy storylines. Next matchup was the mid-card champions. Seth Rollins, a.k.a. Monday Night Raw. Rollins, Intercontinental Champion, against Shinsuke Nakamura of the United States of Nakamerica. So Bueller, what did you think about the mid-card champions, Seth and Shin, going back and forth? Come on!
So, this match was great. For one, it's just nice to see Shinsuke back on a pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the last time we reviewed a pay-per-view that he was on.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when I thought about it, it's probably been 4 or 5 months since he's been on a real pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought the match was great, but it was missing something, and it was missing a story behind it. And that's what I noticed from the very beginning. It didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
To where if they did a story between these two guys type thing, this match would be a lot more meaningful and a lot more enjoyable because they did a great job together. And it was probably my match of the night, to be honest with you. A lot of great spots. It was clean. I mean, there was literally a part when I thought Shinsuke was legitimately knocked out, and he wasn't. You know, he took a knee to the face or something like that, or a super kick to the face on his way down, and it looked just extremely harsh. And Rollins hit all his moves. They're all clean, and just a great match. I'd say I'd give this one probably a 4 or a 4.5. But if there was a story behind this match, if they did a storyline between these two guys, I would love to see it, just as long as nobody's balls get knocked off.
no nut shots allowed. C. Wood, what did you think about this match?
It wasn't too bad. I was hoping for a little bit better match. That being said, though, I think it's still tied for second best match of the night. I did mark out, like you did, for the come on!
Yeah, I love those.
And then Rollins copied it.
Yeah.
He didn't do it as good, obviously, but I still got a chuckle out of that. So we all love that spot. I thought they sized each other up for a little bit too long going into the match. I would have liked to see them get to the action just a little, like a minute or two faster than they did. But once they did, it was pretty solid. Rollins killed Nakamura with that super kick, like Bueller said. I'm not sure how he had the wherewithal to actually do the kicking out motion because he looked like he...
It totally looked like he just...
Yeah.
Like, he did it. Like, I thought he was out.
Yeah, his eyes were glazed over. Like, that looked pretty deadly. And then, I can't believe, Rollins got the kick out of the Kinshasa to the back of the head. And then it led to that cool finishing sequence where it eventually led to Rollins' stomp, and then Nakamura didn't get the kick out of the finisher, so I was slightly bummed about that. But nonetheless, like I said, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Surprised there was no Ambrose at all in this pay-per-view as well, because there was no run-in, no distraction, anything like that. They just kind of get a mention of him later. 3.5 out of 5 for me.
Awesome. All right, man. Chad, how about you? You're a big old Shinsuke fan, aren't you?
I thought, yeah. I'm more of a Rollins fan.
Yeah.
I thought he did an awesome job. Like everybody said, the match was back and forth. You didn't know who was going to win. It was probably my match of the night because it was only one.
It was my match of the night too, Chad.
Hey there, y'all calm down. Y'all get a room later on. I love it. I love that one.
Just because they actually finished the match, and I agree with Bueller. If there was a story behind this, they could run this all the way through WrestleMania because it's a solid. These two performers did an awesome job. With the way that they've been treating Nakamura over the past couple months as more of an afterthought on SmackDown, it was good to see him in this match. But the most important thing is we got, after the match, the Architect had an interview, and we're getting an Ambrose Rollins main event.
Man. That's awesome, man. Well, how many stars did you give this one?
I'm going to say this one was 3.5.
3.5. All right. Well, let me tell you about this one. Both of these guys, Seth Rollins and Shinsuke, man, they've both gone toe-to-toe with my personal greatest in the world, and that's both. They've both fought Dolph. And look at these guys where they are right now. And I think Dolph has a lot to do with it. I'm going to go ahead and give this one 4.5 because both of them wrestled Dolph. All right. So, backstage, Raw has some team issues, kind of like the comic book community on a good day, right? We had some team issues. So, backstage, Braun was shown arguing with Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre before classic constable, Baron Corbin, stepped in to settle his team. And because Strowman was unable to touch Corbin, he grabbed Leo Rush and threw him into the GM, threw him into Corbin. I thought that was pretty funny. And then at that point, R-Truth attempted to calm everyone down, but Corbin threw him out by reminding that he's on SmackDown, not on Raw. So I thought that was funny. Woodard, I know you love these little segments, the storylines.
Oh man,
what did you think about this segment?
I like these segments better than most of the Survivor Series matches tonight. I won't lie.
Yeah.
Just the fact, like, first off, Leo Rush was used as a weapon tonight. That was awesome.
He's
He
a
didn't
good
even get a chance
hot.
to
He's a
talk
hot.
or do
He's a good
anything
hot
else.
man.
And then they're like, well, we got to maintain this locker room, our truth continuity, even though it's the Raw locker room, so bring him in. Even though he's not even on the show. So, yeah, oh man, I died as soon as our truth came in. But this isn't the last of our truth and locker rooms tonight. I'm looking forward to the third segment.
Oh God, that was great, man! Freaking great. Well, the next match after that little segment was one of my matches where I was making some of that Totino's pizza, and it was the Authors of Pain, AOP, the Raw champions versus the Bar, the SmackDown champions. Now, this match here, just crazy stuff all around, both random, some planned, and not to overshadow the action happening inside the ring, but we did have, and Chad sent this to us on the messenger thing, the former superstar Enzo Amore, who was fired back in January amid the rape allegations, was seen in the crowd attempting to steal the spotlight by emerging from a hoodie in the second row to gain the crowd's attention. Amore dressed in a version of his old WWE How You Doing t-shirt, that light blue shirt, and did his signature shuffle down the aisle before being forcibly removed by security early in the match. And then the second thing I noticed was Authors of Pain's manager, Drake Maverick, trying to keep his team alive, he peed his pants. I was like, what the hell's going on here? And so I came back into the room, and there he was. Big Show had him in this like he was going to power or choke slam him off the ring apron, but then all of a sudden he starts crying and stuff, and he starts peeing, and then Show just starts laughing, and then I don't even remember what happened. AOP somehow pinned him or did some kind of roll up, and I think won the match. So I'm just giving this match a 2 because Enzo was there. Bueller, what did you think about this one?
Even though the guy took a 1, I'm going to give this one a 2. This match was stupid. I don't know what the guy pees his pants like Billy Madison.
Yep.
That was dumb. And I don't know this Drake Maverick guy or what his story is. I know he was in TNA for a while, but the whole thing was stupid. And I thought, I don't even remember anything about the match because after that little incident with Amore and then with the whole pissing myself thing, I was like, just turn the channel. Let me go make a pizza or whatever. So, I give it a 1. A 1.
I think this also, you had to kind of think Vince McMahon and Pat Patterson were back there. Maybe even Michael Hayes, because I know he loves this weird ass stuff too. But I think they some of the older men wanted to see some pee spots on the show. Oh man, Woodard, what did you think about the AOP?
Oh. Yeah, he definitely put the P in AOP.
Yeah. Arthur's piss.
It was definitely weird seeing the Bar play these fiery baby faces that they're totally not at all. There was a funny botch where Akam killed the camera guy getting into the ring. So that was kind of funny. I know you love botches, Legend, so that's probably one of my botches of the night, seeing the camera go all shaky and then the guy just fall down because one guy gets in the ring. There was a part, though, that bothered me where Drake put the foot of, I think it was Akam, on the rope when his arm was clearly under the ring anyway. So it's like the ref just stopped counting, so just another mess of a spot there. And then the piss spot, No one
Pot
will
Pete.
ever remember anything else about this match except for Drake Maverick peeing his pants. But I don't know. Someone should have got him like a cut. I felt like they were like. I was just like, what is the show waiting on? What is he doing? Like, what are they like? They're just waiting there for so long, standing, and then you just kind of see like that little, like the camera zooms in right on his crotch, and then you start to see it get a little bit darker, and I'm just like, someone should have given him a couple more Cokes or something or coffee. Like, I felt like
if Big Show was staring at my penis for that long, I'd piss myself too.
I think that's you probably hit it right on the wiener there.
Yeah. Overall, the action wasn't too bad. I'm just going to split it right down the middle, 2.5.
2.5. Chad, how about you, man? The Arthur's a piss against the Bar.
Woodard said it best. What are they doing with the tag team division?
It's rough.
I mean, God, it is awful. I'm going to go, you said 1 and 2, right? Bueller, you got both those numbers covered. I'm going to go 0.5.
Ooh. All right, 0.5. And I found out it was that their little double, I guess it's their finishing move where it's like a powerbomb style finisher and they pinned Sheamus. But big shout out to Mike, a.k.a. Popcom, is in the house. And we also have one of the guys with the best in-ring psychology of all time. He's here with us tonight, Bake the Snake. It's good to see Bake in the house. Bake, DDP Yoga has done wonders for you, brother. But we got AOP, man. So AOP, they won. I mean, they're just so green. Oh my God, they're the greenest of the teams, I think, on Raw right now. I mean, and like y'all said, I mean, SmackDown has too many good teams. I mean, there's too many good teams on SmackDown. I think they need to do some switching up. And I'll tell you, even though the Colognes are pretty much jobbers, I mean, they're better wrestlers than probably all of the Raw teams, pretty much. Yeah, I'm going to say that.
They're older, right? I mean, Sheamus and those guys are older, and you figure that the speed of this match would have been a lot better.
Yeah.
I mean, this match was so slow. And it didn't even get going until Sheamus did that hot tag, and then even then it didn't even make much of a difference.
Yeah, man, it was just so bad and slow. I don't know. I don't know what they really need to do something, because I do like tag team wrestling. So hopefully they'll figure something out.
All I know is Ellering would have never pissed his pants.
I know, and he never would neither. That's for damn sure. Old Paul Ellering, he's awesome. So, Seawood, we have another backstage segment where Team SmackDown gets motivated. You want to tell us about that segment?
Oh man, this may have been the segment of the night. Not only do we have Truth trying to get employed on a show he's already on,
yeah,
not to mention on a team that has no spots left. We have The Miz. I don't know what The Miz had to drink tonight or anything, but somehow he turned into the most over baby face in the entire male side. So he's plugging Marine 6. He basically, his incentive for Team SmackDown winning is Team SmackDown wins, he will get them all signed copies of Marine 6. So then Truth comes in, he's like, yeah, that'd be awesome. I would love a signed Marine 6 by Becky Lynch. And then the crowd goes bananas. So, awesome stuff here. The Miz was like, oh, yeah, then they did this, Shane, he turned it over to Shane to motivate him. And they did, shades of Austin and McMahon during the Alliance when Austin and McMahon were trying to fire up the Alliance. Mm-hmm. And Vince would say something, and Austin would be right behind him. It was Vince would be let's go kick their ass. And Austin would kick his ass, yeah. And then he'd just keep repeating it over and over again, trying to get the guys to laugh. That's exactly what this segment was, so I absolutely loved it.
I do love how Miz can do it all, man. He could definitely do it all. So our next match, I'm going to keep it with you, Woodard, because you're a big 205 Live fan, and we had the 205 Live Cruiserweight Champion Buddy Murphy defending against Mustafa Ali. What did you think about this one?
Well, first off, it would be nice, when we're going to 205 Live Land, be nice my boy Gulak could get some screen time, but I understand, we got to get Mustafa Ali and Buddy Murphy in there. That being said, match of the night for me easily. Mm-hmm. These guys tore the house down, in my opinion. They stole the pay-per-view. There were some crazy sells by Mustafa Ali. There was a part where Buddy pushed Ali off the middle rope to the barricade, and it just looked devastating. Like, Ali was just bumping like a boss throughout this entire match. Everything Buddy did just looked 10 times more devastating because of Mustafa Ali selling. There was a pretty insane, like, plancha from Buddy where he ran both ropes and just jumped. He almost jumped to the ramp. So it's just impressive he can get that distance. I'm always a mark for that spike Hurricane Rana that Mustafa Ali hit on Buddy.
Yeah.
That thing looked stiff as all could get out, but Buddy got right back up from it, so that was pretty crazy. They also had that tilt-a-whirl DDT on the Buddy, where he was like out on the apron, and then they DDT'd him back in the ring, and he like completely ragdolled on every rope. And then he even got hit with the Spanish fly off of the announce table.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was just a devastating move. So, and just to put in perspective how good this match was, it started off with boring chants. I definitely heard a smattering of boring chants by about 2/3 toward the end of it. Those same people were chanting 205, so they definitely achieved their goal with this match. The finish was like there was a super kick where Mustafa had like he was turned upside down, his head was tucked into the turnbuckle. Buddy super kicked his head, which was already wedged into the turnbuckle, looked super devastating. And then he like smashed him with this knee into his finisher. And it looks just everything that happened with these like last 10 or 15 moves looked super devastating. So I just marked out for all of that. So 4.5 out of 5. Glad this match was on the main card. I would have loved it if it was like maybe 3 to 5 minutes longer. I think with a little bit more time, it could have been a 5-star match for me, but absolutely match of the night in my opinion.
Awesome, man. All right, well, big shout out real quick in the chat. We got some new folks in the chat. I'm talking Chaos Theory 035. He says Brock can't be stopped. And Michael Spencer, he says, I want to hear your reviews on the Bryan versus Lesnar match. Well, let me tell you, it was, I think, at Staples Center or wherever the hell LA plays, but Kobe Bryant don't play there. You must be talking Daniel Bryan. That's what he was, Daniel Bryan versus Lesnar, because that's LeBron's team now. It ain't Kobe's team no more. But we're going to get there, Michael Spencer. But first, I want to see what Chad has to say about Buddy Murphy and Mustafa.
This is the first time I actually I saw a 205 match all the way through, and Buddy Murphy is awesome. Mustafa there were some hard hits. Mm-hmm. These cats were going at it hard, and I'm telling you, I would love to see Buddy Murphy on the main roster.
Oh.
I mean, him and Finn would do awesome matches,
mm-hmm.
and then they'll make them go crazy. So I think that's a theme. And this was a phenomenal match. I just loved how they kept on saying Ali's going up for a 054 and then never did it.
I know.
He kept on getting stopped. And overall this was a phenomenal match. So again, 3.5.
3.5. Now, Woodard, you probably know this because I haven't seen Ali do it in a while, but is that 054, is that pretty much just like, a backwards 450?
If I remember right, which I like I said, I need to get back into 205 myself. I think it's like a forward like flip and with another flip. It's kind of like what happened at TakeOver War Games last night with Ricochet, I think, off the top of the cage.
Oh, and see, you know what?
Something like that.
I was really pissed at the cameraman because all I saw was it was like when we were playing WWE, the Hell in the Cell, when Shawn just like hit the pavement. You didn't even see what he did. That's what I felt like on that Ricochet move. But yeah, I tell you what, great matches last night. NXT, the TakeOver War Games 2 or whatever, awesome stuff. But for this match, I loved it. It was back and forth. Like when I love that Spanish fly move. I know they do at least once in every damn 205 match, but it just looks so freaking awesome, so I really love that. And like you said, Woodard, whenever Murphy caught leaping when Ali was leaping off the top rope with that knee to the face and followed up with the Murphy's Law to end the match. I mean, that was just like, it reminded me of the old showdown in Melbourne. I mean, it was just Buddy's night again, and I thought it was a great match. I'm going to go ahead and give that one a 4.5 out of 5. Bueller, what did you think about old Buddy and Ali going at it?
Woodard kind of covered all the spots I was thinking about, but I have a couple of questions. So, is there a reason why Cedric Alexander is not wrestling? His rematch type thing? Is he hurt or something?
That's a great question. Woodard, what did you think?
I think they had the rematch on 205, which I hadn't watched yet.
Okay.
But yeah,
Murphy won,
according to the video packages, they had like a one-on-one between Tony Nese and Mustafa Ali, and I think Ali won with a roll-up or something like that. I think so.
Yeah.
Just set up this match. I think they just mainly wanted to get Ali over, kind of like they have Cedric and Buddy Murphy on Super Showdown, just to try to mix it up a little bit.
I'm sure
All right.
Cedric will probably be back.
Well,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was curious about that because I was like, well, shouldn't he get his rematch? So that was a little, because you always get your rematch clause type thing. They always keep pointing that out. The match was great. Buddy Murphy, the guy's intense, man. You can tell he's making the most of his time on his matches. It's nice to see where they put this match on the card. In between some key matches. It's not a kickoff show match. It's right there in the center of the card and everything. And so I enjoyed what they did. The Ali guy, I thought he was really good. But honestly, the Buddy Murphy, he's kind of winning me over, man. I think he's definitely he's obviously the champ for that division, but he's definitely the guy that's shining the brightest right now. So can't complain. Glad to see it. Great match. Probably give it 4.
Buddy freaking Murphy. Awesome match. In the chat, Sam's Tangled Web says, boo Lakers. And Chaos Theory 035 says, Brock will beat the Lakers. Yeah, he'd probably F5 them on the freaking floor of the gym court,
Now, before we get to the next match, I want to say, at no point in the history would I ever think that Buddy Murphy would be this high up on my list as far as the guys on the main roster right now. Because watching him back in NXT, I thought it was nothing. There was nothing there.
Yeah, with
props
freaking
to him
Blake.
to putting it together and dropping the weight and really shining. So I think it's awesome.
Yeah, remember him and old Wesley Blake. It was Buddy Murphy, Wesley Blake, and good old Alexa Bliss was their kind of manager that brought him out. And Buddy Murphy looked kind of like little tubby Murphy, not too, but man, he looks in excellent form, man. The 8, the 12 pack, I mean, it's all there. The 24 pack, he's got it all, man. He kind of reminds me of that guy that's in the UFC that I don't really like, Conor McGregor. He kind of reminds me of like a Conor McGregor, just some guy that's going to kick some ass. So definitely a great guy. Next up, you got the classic. What we all wanted to see tonight. We wanted to see Constable Corbin's team, his Raw team of Braun, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, and Bobby Lashley go up against The Miz, Shane O'Mac, Rey Mysterio, Jeff Hardy, and Samoa freaking Joe. I'm going to get this one started because there was some disharmony among members and constant bickering from the Raw squad, man. It was messed up and crazy. At first, Braun and McIntyre, they were like, I want to go first, blah, blah, blah. Then they were kind of fighting and everything. Finally, Braun gets in the ring, but, McIntyre tags himself in, and then here we freaking go, man. It got crazy quick. People started going down. I was kind of disappointed that Samoa Joe kind of got, out of the match pretty quick, and I was like, damn, this is kind of like SmackDown's stronger guy, to go up against the likes of Drew and Braun and Bobby Lashley, those 3 big ones. But yeah, I don't think this match was very good. It wasn't as good as far as anything I see. Ziggler was just getting rocked in there, so that always sucks. I mean, Mysterio got a lot of action. I mean, good for him. He got a lot of moves in. Balor was kind of forgettable. I don't know. I just didn't really, and then Shane was the last one. I don't know. It sucks that I have to do this, but I'm going to have to go 1.5. I can't even tell you any more about it. Bueller, what's your thoughts on this Survivor Series elimination match?
Well, it's the one thing that stood out to me right away is just the difference in size between the two teams. especially towards the end, and you're looking across, and you have Strowman, you have Lashley, and you have the other guy who am I, Drew or
Drew.
whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
and against Shane McMahon, Jeff Hardy, and Rey Mysterio type thing, or The Miz, and just the size difference, athleticism, for how big those guys are and how athletic they are is pretty impressive. And then, not to mention, I mean, I know he wasn't in the match, but Baron Corbin, he's also a pretty big guy.
Yeah.
So that kind of stood out right away. There was definitely some high spots in the match, with the Shane McMahon doing his thing. And the I thought they allowed the SmackDown guys for the most part to do their spots, especially Rey Mysterio. That they let him do his things, and then, like I said, Shane McMahon got to do his things as well. But it was a total dominant performance, and obviously they played it out that way. And the last three guys standing were the biggest guys in the room, and with Strowman and Lashley and them. I like that the little Leo Rush guy. He's great.
Yeah.
I enjoy having him partnered up with Lashley. I think that works out really well. And I thought it was okay, but there was really no stakes to it. It seemed like it was a really quick build from the last debacle, the Crown Jewel, to the Survivor Series type thing. It was only like 2 weeks ago, and so there wasn't as much build, for this Survivor Series as there's been in previous years. Like they would do the invasion angle a couple weeks or 2 or 3 weeks type thing, and they'd banter back and forth. And this one was only like a week and a half, and that was about it. So the match didn't have too much importance to it, and I wasn't that invested. But you know what? It's nice to see Rey Mysterio back in the WWE doing his thing, and so I can appreciate that. So all in all, I'll probably give it, probably a 2.5.
Awesome. Let me go to the chat real quick. We have one of the coolest cats in all around, and I'm talking about Brandon Stowinski Comics, man. Good old Brandon. Look for him soon to be on some auctions and things like that around the comic book community. He says, Legend, what's up, man? And Bueller, what's up, Comic Core? And C. Wood. Comic Core Chad getting some love there, too. And then, Sam said sub you, Brandon. So great to see that. I want to give a little shout out also to DeAndre, the Hood Giant. DeAndre, the Hood Giant, love your YouTube screen name. He says, yo. And then we have Chaos Theory says, Brock is the best there is, was, and ever will be. To be the man, you got to bear the Brock. Well, we are bearing a lot of his ass, and we can't get him out of WWE fast enough. But I want to go with I want to see what what did you think about the men's elimination match for Survivor Series?
So it started the theme of everybody going crazy and turning on each other. I mean, what legitimacy does it bring to SmackDown to have Shane as the last man standing?
Right.
It makes
He's the best in the world.
Yeah, well, I mean,
1/3.
Obviously, you get Samoa Joe, who just came off some awesome matches with AJ, out right off the bat. Finn, he kicks. I mean, it was just a botch. He had the biggest botch of the night on the Miz when he tried his kutukai, when he landed on his face.
Oh
and
yeah,
slid across
that sweaty chest of his.
But overall, I mean, this match was just, it was a disaster. And then Baron, he's partnered up with Lashley at the end and Drew, and he sucker punches Braun in the back of the head. I mean, come on. I actually think they gave up writing. They're like, let's just see what happens.
I'd given it a 1.5, but you reminded me of Baron Corbin getting those good shots in on Braun and making Braun drop. I'm going to go to 2 stars now because of Corbin.
Well, I'm pulled the steps though.
I'm going to pull out the 1.5 then.
All right. Woodard, how about you? What did you think about Baron Corbin kicking ass?
Where's
at the end?
Where's the beef on Monday Night Raw? That's all I know.
The beef.
So, It felt like, according to the crowd, Samoa Joe was the most over guy in this match. He's a California native.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd was all chanting Joe, 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 and within the first minute, he's eliminated. And I knew then this was going to be a train wreck.
You sure they weren't chanting like JoJo, the ring
JoJo.
announcer?
Well, she didn't get to introduce Elias, so no. That's my favorite thing she does.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elias.
Yeah. Oh, classic.
So, a couple highlights for me. The knees, I think it was Dolph got his knees up on that swanton. That just looked so deadly for both of those guys.
Jeff Hardy.
I thought Dolph was hurt.
Yeah.
Dolph's
that had to have messed up your knees, and Jeff Hardy's back. I can't believe they did that. The Shano splat was pretty good when he went from the coast to coast, and Strowman just swallowed him out of air like a bug. That was a pretty good spot. My favorite hidden highlight spot of the whole match was where you get all these eliminations, which I'll go over in a second, and it's basically Miz has to get in there with Strowman, and the look on his face is just priceless. And then couple that with Corey Graves going like, well, I guess we won't be seeing a Marine 7 anytime soon. So that was really good. But the action was, Drew pinned Samoa Joe with the Claymore in about 60 seconds. And then Ray pinned Finn Balor, I believe. Shane pins Dolph again. I'm sure you didn't like that, Legend.
Oh, no, that sucked.
And then the rest of my notes, Braun kills Hardy, Braun kills Ray, Braun kills Miz, Braun kills Shane. So my question is, why does Shane keep getting on these Survivor Series teams? So and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure the last couple of years, once they started the brand split, is year one he was in there and he got legit injured when he got speared by Reigns doing a coast to coast, and he got concussed doing that. And then the next year there's that debacle where he was a sole survivor for Smackdown against, I think, Triple H and Angle, and Triple H turned on Angle and then still won anyway. So why do they keep putting Shane on these teams? I have no idea.
It's the whole Triple H, why is he always at WrestleMania? Just being part of the family gets you
but
the
at least
perks.
He's a wrestler that's won championships.
But Shane, man, what about Shane?
What about Shane?
It's like
the only thing
Alan
he's done
Ladd,
win me a Hell in a
Shane,
Cell match on 2K19.
Shane.
I'm tired of seeing Shane at this point. I think it's because of the stupid. And the other observation I had, I think it was around this point, and then the point, when we're talking about Brooke later. Also, real quick, my review of Crown Jewel, 0 on 5. It sucked. All right, we're done with that. But Michael Cole, it's like they make it a point not to call the last pay-per-view Crown Jewel. Like, they have to talk about the World Cup and later Brock winning the Universal title. All they say is, oh, Shane won this trophy a couple of weeks back, or, oh, Brock won the Universal title a couple of weeks back on the show. They don't even make mention of Crown Jewel. So I think it's either they know how much Crown Jewel sucked and or the controversy with Saudi Arabia. So I thought that was super interesting. But at the end of the day, I'm going this match. I'm going to lower mine to a 1.5, actually, just because doing this review of this match got me fired up a little bit more. And I could just feel the hate oozing out of the crowd at this point. The crowd was so fired up at the beginning tag match for SmackDown winning the tag team match, and then we never get for some reason, everyone hated Raw in the crowd. Boy, were they happy at the end of this show, as you could tell.
When Joe got taken out, they started chanting, "This is bullshit."
Yeah.
Oh, man. Chad, what did you think about this match?
I thought it was. I already gave a review.
See, man, it must have been unmemorable. Sorry about that. Damn, and that's my bad because, man, this match, it just sucked. I mean, God, what is WWE doing? Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you what they're doing. Another backstage scene with Seth Rollins. C. Wood, what did you think about Seth Rollins finding out the news in 4 weeks? TLC.
Well, this one didn't make me laugh, but it actually had a point, unlike most of the rest of the show, where Seth basically finds out he's going to have an opponent for TLC, and it's Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship. So
Good match.
for the first time, we're actually hyping up a pay-per-view that's a month away, and we're going to get a storyline build for something that's, besides a 2-week build. So it should be pretty good.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's like they're in opposite form. So instead of, Seth being the bad guy turning on Dean, it's Dean being the bad guy turning on Seth. So we get a little bit of that yin, a little bit of that yang, a little bit of that black, a little bit of that white, a little bit of that positive, and a little bit of the negative. We're going to see it at TLC. And, after TLC airs, the place to be is youtube.com/R.E95, the Great Legend Show with the WWE PPV review of TLC 2018. With Bueller, Comacore, Chad, and C. Woodard 19, you're going to be in for a treat as we get y'all up on y'all's out of your chair and on y'all's feet. All right, it was a long shot. Sorry about that. All right, so Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair. I know a lot of us wanted Becky, and I'm going to Chad on this. Open us up with some Raw and Charlotte, Chad.
Overall, like Corey Gray said, and Michael Cole kept on referring to it as, this could have been a 5-star match if she didn't lose her mind.
Yep.
And I didn't really understand the reasoning for it. But then I saw Daniel Bryan in the next match, and I was like, oh, okay, this is definitely a theme. Overall, the match between the two, awesome. I thought Charlotte was doing a great job. Ronda took a bump early on when she did a head off the ropes, and then the blood started coming, and I think there was a couple stiff shots on Charlotte from Ronda. But overall, I didn't have any clue why the match ended the way it did, because these two people aren't even on the same brand.
Yeah.
So they can't carry on unless they're going to do a merger of some sort. I don't get it. So overall, I'm going to give this one a 2.
A 2. How about you, Woodard? Charlotte and Ronda.
Yeah, like Chad said, there was a bump. I think it was into the bottom of a turnbuckle. It looked really, really rough. I did like the opening exchange between Charlotte and Ronda, where basically they're just flat trying to go for their finishing submissions early. So they had Charlotte's trying to go for the figure 8, Ronda's trying to go for the armbar. So they each escaped. So I like that. Got the action going real quick. Charlotte elbow busted open Ronda's mouth. That looked pretty gross. So it's like the second time this week, or within the last 7 days, one of the women wrestlers have been busted open pretty bad, so that was pretty crazy. Shout out to Charlotte. She actually was working Ronda's leg to set up for the figure 8, so I'm always a sucker for that type of stuff. If you have a submission hold, maybe you should work that body part for the whole match, so good job there, Charlotte. Also, Ronda had a really good sell for Charlotte's spear, so it's just kind of crazy how good Ronda's coming along in terms of selling, too, because that's something, in my opinion, she struggled with a little bit. But, when you have opponents like, Alexa Bliss and Mickie James, she usually doesn't have to do a lot of selling, whereas with Charlotte, I was a little concerned, and Ronda actually was doing a lot of selling here. So later in the match, I thought they were getting a little lazy with their strikes. Like, there's this part, I think it was Charlotte, did this, very light tap of a kick to Ronda's leg, so it's like, I'm going to kick your leg out of your leg and just doink. And then there was a couple Ronda punches later. I'm just like, what are they doing? So, and then, the crowd was just starting to chant, this is awesome, this is awesome. And then for some reason we get a kendo stick attack from Charlotte, which I have no clue what they're thinking here. And then she goes crazy. And eventually gets a chair, brings in the chair, gets the chair stripped by that little ref, or the ref gets pushed out, and then we get natural selection on the chair, which that was a really sick-looking bump, so I thought that was really awesome. And also a special shout-out post-match to Jamie Noble. He was the only one to get Charlotte under control. So good job, Jamie Noble. You did what 10 refs couldn't. Overall, I give it a 3 out of 5. Like I said, the match, for the most part, was pretty good. I just didn't understand the finish. Like Chad said, it's not like we're going to have Charlotte versus Ronda again on Raw tomorrow. Maybe they're thinking about Royal Rumble or WrestleMania at this point. I feel like in their booking tonight for almost everything, they're planning way in the future instead of thinking about the crowds and pleasing people now, as typical for the fall and winter pay-per-views they do. So yeah, 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I got it. I'm also gonna say 3 out of 5. I mean, like the match was really good, back and forth. Charlotte was getting out of moves. They were Ronda was working the arm bar moves, or this the ragdoll where she's flipping them around and all that kind of stuff with those judo throws and everything, getting her in the the arm bar attempts, and then getting pins. I mean, just a lot of great reversals, a lot of action, and then man, Charlotte just went crazy, and returned to that classic heel swagger. Kind of reminded me of her dad, but a little bit more like intense, and she got that stick, and boy, she was going to work and just beating the crap out of her. And then the move where she put her like head in that chair and everything and stomped on that one part, the safe part, but still looked cool. And like you said, the natural selection on the chair, that was just classic. I kind of saw that move coming before it happened, but it was just, it gave a good sound effect, good like smack. And then, when Charlotte was leaving, they started chanting, "Thank you, Charlotte." "Thank you, Charlotte." So I don't know what they're going to do with this. I don't know if Charlotte was just softening Ronda up for Becky. Well, if Becky will ever get her hands on her, I don't know. I mean, I would love to see Becky and Ronda at WrestleMania, but we'll have to see what happens. Bueller, what was your thoughts on the old Kendo Stick of Doom?
I thought the match was great. I thought the storytelling in it was fantastic. I think they did. You got to remember, they threw this match together in the last 5 days.
Yeah.
This match was, the story that was written was not written for this a week ago. It was written literally 5 days ago when that happened to Becky Lynch, and so they had to come up with something. So I kind of looked at it like this. Okay, they need to make both these girls look strong. Okay, and how you do that, you don't let either one of them lose traditionally. A hidden plot line. Okay, the Raw superstars took out our champ. Smackdown superstars, we're going to take out your champ.
Oh.
That's exactly what Charlotte did. She took out Ronda Rousey. Okay, in a different way. At the end of the match, when Ronda's walking the back, she's getting booed, and she's like looking at the crowd, like she's starting to resent the crowd. "Why are you booing me?" type thing. I've always said that I think Rousey needs to be a heel.
Yep.
I think she looks really phony when she's smiling and running down to the ring and handing something to kids or whatnot, and she's got this weird eyeshadow makeup. I don't know what that is.
She needs to get that off
I think
her.
she'd be a better heel. And I think that this is setting her up to be like, "You guys don't appreciate me" type thing. "You fans out here don't appreciate me." And then this is something down the road for the 4 horsewomen, because the 3 girls that are in the NXT, they're heels.
Oh yeah.
Her friends, they're heels. They're gonna have to bring them up. Who's the popular people right now? As far as female wrestlers, it's Sasha Banks, it's Bayley, it's Becky Lynch, and now Charlotte. Those are your faces. You need 4 heels. Those are the 4 heels. I think they were setting all this up, and I think they did a good job. And I think that I would love for them to do this. I would love for them to take the women's division and turn it into the female version of the Attitude Era, like how the guys did it. Okay? And just make it an Attitude Era with the females, and it's all like that. And I'm not talking about, like bikini contest, stuff like that, but literally put them in the men's role, what the men were doing in the Attitude Era. Do that with the women in their own type thing. I think that would be awesome. I liked it. I think Ronda will probably be off TV for a couple of weeks to sell this type thing, but she was legit beat up. I mean, she took some shots, and I think Charlotte was having a little bit of fun there, to be honest with you. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great match. I thought it was a good story. I think it sets up a ton of stuff, and it's right up there with actually my match of the night for everything that it did. So I really enjoyed it.
That's awesome, man. We got the chat is really hopping. We got Count Von Strange. He says the PPV was meh at best. And then Jacob Bailey, thanks for stopping by. He says, I think Charlotte just took back her spot in Mania. So you never know. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah.
But that's definitely where I think they wanted to. WWE themselves wanted to go, was a Charlotte and Ronda WrestleMania match. But man, the fans, man, I ain't seen the fans go goo goo gaga, like this since, the love for Daniel Bryan, around the WrestleMania 30 time. But man, I tell you, Becky's got a lot of love from all the fans. So last match on the card, what was that? You want to add to that out there?
Yeah, what was funny about that match, though, I mean, both of them looked bewildered and just haggard. But 2 weeks ago, or three, whenever the last pay-per-view was, Charlotte was getting booed out of the arena. So for her to make that quick of a turn just because of sheer effort, I mean, you could tell that, I mean, you can't tell that her dad's Flair, but, I mean,
very seasoned.
She had to learn from the best, and she did control that match. And I agree. Maybe we might get stables in the women's division.
Oh, dang, that would be good. Charlotte is a 7-time champion, so she knows her stuff, man. And I think Ronda. I think this was Ronda's definitely. Was her hardest match, and Charlotte really took it to her, really good. Now, the next match was a dream match for Daniel Bryanson, or Bryan Danielson, whatever the American Dragon is, man. He really has always wanted to face Lesnar. It's one of his dream matches. And, man, what a damn match, man. There's nothing quite like when you get Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar, but you get a Brock Lesnar that came, or I don't know if he came to work, but WWE says, you're going to work with old American Dragon here, and y'all are going to have a match. And, man, they freaking made it work. Now, granted, it was kind of sucky. Even though Bryan, was a heel, I was still rooting for him to beat Lesnar because I just don't like Lesnar anymore, I think Lesnar should go to UFC full time. But, man, I thought this match was pretty freaking fun, pretty awesome. I love the low blow, the great equalizer, as Shivani used to call it back when Flair was doing it to Sting or whoever. The nut shot is classic. But, man, and the way Daniel Bryan, though, when he, the fan, you could, even though he's a heel, you take those big spots, and I don't even want to say they're big spots, it's just Brock Lesnar's a freaking beast. Who would ever thought a German suplex would be like a spot or something? But, I mean, this the rag doll. I mean, it was like getting killed on Red Dead and sliding down a cliff, man. The rag doll effect on Bryan after some of these Germans, man, they were intense. But, Bryan got some stuff in, got his shit in, and it was. I thought it was pretty good. I'm going to give it a 3.5. I probably would have given it a 4, if Daniel Bryan would have won, but I'll go give it a solid 3.5. And thank you, Brock, for kind of sweating a little extra tonight. Woodard, what did you think?
This match, it was a little weird. I think the first note I took was, I hope Daniel Bryan doesn't die in the ring. But I enjoyed the second half of the match, but the first half it was super weird. It's like Daniel Bryan took the Hollywood Hogan school of hot dogging and grandstanding notes. Like, he would just do a little kick, then run outside for 10 minutes, taunt, run back in, Lesnar would chase him, then he'd get back in, and finally Lesnar would he just beat the hell out of Daniel Bryan for what felt like an eternity. Some crazy spots that Daniel Bryan doesn't need to be taking with his past of concussions and that stuff. But once Daniel started to make his comeback, that's when the real match started, in my opinion. So there's a lot of good stuff there. I enjoyed, like you said, the low blow. I wonder why Paul Heyman just doesn't buy Brock Lesnar a cup at this point. That's his one weakness, that every Undertaker match, Undertaker would low blow him, and then everybody else would too. So get the man a cup. Mm-hmm. I was a little disappointed Brock came out with the victory. I would have rather just ended it in a DQ or something with the low blow from Daniel Bryan. Just because I don't understand why you changed Daniel Bryan's character. 5 days before this, and then he still kind of basically loses clean, even tries to cheat. But yeah, overall I give this match a solid 3 on 5. Second half was good. First half struggled for me. But my final note I just wrote under this whole thing: Vince must really hate SmackDown. So there we go.
Bueller, what did you think about your boy Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar?
I'm confused by this match. To be honest, it's because Daniel Bryan is supposed to be a heel. I mean, it's like they turn him or whatnot, and I think he plays a good heel, but the match did not. He starts out as a heel, but he's a lovable heel by the end of the match. And boy, you give it your best effort, and you might just get it type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And but I thought the match was enjoyable. Actually, as far as Brock Lesnar matches go, this is probably one of my more memorable ones in the last year, to be honest. And I wasn't expecting much at all. I thought it was going to be a squash match. I mean, last time he squashed Strowman, and with an F5 or a few of those, and it was over in just a minute or so. So I thought this was going to be similar, because obviously, like Woodard said, it seems like McMahon hates SmackDown. So put a little icing on the cake and just put the nail in the coffin and have it end like that. But I enjoyed it. I thought Brock did pretty good, and I would like to see maybe a rematch type thing with maybe another person involved. I think it would be kind of cool. So anyway, it was fun. It was a good way to end the show. It was better than I anticipated. So this match, I give it like a 3.5.
Cool. Chad, how about you, man? The Lesnar and Daniel Bryan, the main event of the night. Was it the main event you wanted?
No.
I love asking questions that I know the answer to already, but keep going.
I mean, we already got AJ, and Brock's not going to lay down for anybody right now.
Yeah.
Not really sure what his shtick is. I mean, he says he doesn't. I mean, he hates wrestling or whatever. He wants to get back into MMA. Then do it. But my problem, the best part about it is, of all the Brock matches that we've seen, he actually sold for Daniel Bryan, and I don't know if that was him just contractually obligated to do it or out of mutual respect, but this is the most that he sold in any match that I've seen in probably the past year. He did a really good job of it, and he carried it. I don't understand what they're doing with Daniel Bryan, and like they kept on saying he's smiling because he knows something. And I don't get it. Is there no ills on SmackDown?
Yeah, I just thought he was smiling because this is Daniel Bryan's dream match. He always wanted to fight Lesnar it's like, is there anyone, if you could come back from the concussions, who would you fight? And he always said, I want to fight some Lesnar.
I don't get it though. I mean,
suicide mission.
Yeah, exactly. and Brock is, I mean, he's gotten mad in the past. I mean, hell, he knocked out Randy, and then punched Braun Strowman in the face.
I wouldn't wrestle him.
Overall, the match was a decent match. I'm going to give it just a flat 3, but this whole thing was confusing.
It was a crazy PPV indeed. That's why I've got to give this PPV overall 2 stars. Bueller, what do you give this PPV overall?
I thought it was okay. I'll give it a 3, probably a 3 out of 5.
Cool. How about you, Wood?
I think I've also got to go with you, Legend, at 2 out of 5. I do have a question. Was AJ hurt or something? Like, when's the last time we had a major pay-per-view and we didn't have AJ Styles on that pay-per-view?
But you also didn't have Elias.
I think 371 days ago for AJ, because he held the title that long. But, you got to give the guy a little break. 371 days. They after the show tonight, they had one of those 365s, of AJ through the whole last year to kind of cap off. So I'm thinking hopefully they'll give him a little vacation. What about you, Chad? What do you give the show out of 5 stars?
I'm going to say a 2.5.
2.5. So kind of right in the middle of me and Woodard, and then Bueller's. You did 3.5, didn't you, Bueller?
I did a 3, but Chad's being hard on the women and the men tonight, Chad.
Getting hard on the ladies. Getting hard on the ladies. Getting hard on the ladies. Because we love Robert Galvin. Where's Galvin at tonight, by the way, fans? Where's Robert Galvin? I want to see my buddy Galvin.
Rock and roll, baby.
We do have the uncanny Kyle Walker in the chat. So it's good to see uncanny Kyle Walker. Great to see you tonight. The Prince of New Zealand, we call him. And then Double S Comics Reader says, just imagine if Bueller got his wish. If hanging out with Sable, Bueller would have looked like Daniel Bryan going to Suplex City. Oh, man. You know, I'd be like Bueller. You know, not Strowman. Brock can have Sable. Bueller, he's already got his comic books. That's all you need. You know, women will just cause trouble. That's what they good for, is trouble. But Sam's Tangled Web also says, sounds like Rusev and Lana were upset about being left off the PPV. And I think that too. And then Sam said, I talked to Galvin yesterday. So I like that. And then the Double S says, Brock only sells if he respects you. That's what I heard, Chad. So, yeah. That's what it's all about. And how about that NXT show? We don't have to review the whole show, but man, I saw the opening match. I saw a 5-star opening match. You know, the best 2 out of 3 with Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler, and I saw a 6-star match with freaking Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano, and I saw a 7-star match with Velveteen and Tommaso Ciampa. Man, I mean. That was amazing. And then the War Games was pretty cool. I was kind of upset that Undisputed didn't win, but it was cool to see Ricochet and Pete Dunne like just chilling on the top of the cage celebrating. But man, I think that whole pay-per-view was like an 8-star to me. I mean, did y'all watch the NXT match?
Yeah, it was really good.
I definitely watched it, and it was a very enjoyable show. Even the beginning with that new guy that came out, Matt Riddle.
Yeah, the bro guy. Yeah,
he's like the great legend of wrestling.
Oh man, he looked good, didn't he? When he came in the ring and he kicked those flip flops off.
What's up? Hey yo, what's up, bro?
Yeah, but, I love that guy. He's cool.
That was a great show. I mean, really, I can't tell you when the last time a takeover show wasn't that good. I mean, they've all been good. It's a show that highlights what the wrestlers can do. They give them the time they need to make good matches, and you can tell everybody there is hungry. They all want to shine, and they all want to outdo each other, and it shows every match one after another. So
it's what the WrestleManias. It's what
highlight show of the weekend.
It's what WrestleMania should be. I mean, I really hope that, like, you know Seth and Dolph and, like, The Miz and, like, Daniel Bryan, AJ, Shinsuke, Joe, some of those wrestlers, like, man, they gotta watch some NXT and, like, do what the NXT people are doing, But I tell you, what about you, Chad? Did you get to watch the NXT War Games?
No, I did not get to watch it.
It's pretty legit.
I was watching a documentary about ECW.
Ooh, now that's kind of cool, too.
Oh, nice.
That's kind of cool. Was that on the network, or was that on YouTube? Or
it was on YouTube. And, it's called Forever Hardcore, the documentary ECW.
Oh, yeah. I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, I'm going to have to watch it.
It's real good, actually.
Woodard,
Francine,
Francine. Woodard, what did you think about the NXT last night, man?
Oh, man, it might be my favorite takeover I've seen, or at least in recent memory. It was so good. Just a couple highlights I remember at this point. Like, Kairi Sane got her old entrance music back for some reason, so I marked out for that a little bit. The Yo-Ho came back, so that was great. I wish the women's match would have got a little bit more time on that show, considering it was the best 2 out of 3 falls. But considering the length of the other 3 matches, I can definitely understand that. Aleister Black versus Gargano was a insane.
Amazing.
Just some of the kicks and stiff shots they were taking at each other was just nuts. I'm glad, Aleister Black got some of his heat back, won that match. Definitely shout out to Velveteen Dream and his awesome Hollywood Hogan entrance. Saw that one coming.
That was beautiful.
That was pretty cool.
I was on the edge of my seat watching Dream. I thought they were going to let Dream just take it, and if they would have let Dream take it, that would have been a WrestleMania Velveteen moment right there.
Yeah, Hollywood. But yeah, just between him and Ciampa, like those might be. There's so many people right now that are like, who's going to be the next big thing between that roster they had on that card, and then that War Games match. Like I said, like you said too, like I was disappointed Undisputed didn't win, and I was a little disappointed that Pete Dunne is kind of. I guess he's just a face now.
Yeah.
But beyond that, the action in that War Games was awesome. They gave that match so much time to breathe. Couple cheesy spots here and there where they, each team had their own ring for a second, then had a stare down, then grouped together in the middle of the ring. But I don't know, the crowd was super into it, so it definitely worked. But yeah, 5-on-5 for that. If you guys watch one wrestling show this weekend, just skip Survivor Series and watch TakeOver. Trust me.
God, amen to that. I couldn't have said it better myself. Y'all need to watch the NXT. Man, a lot of people have been asking me, like, why I didn't have an auction last night? Because NXT TakeOver was on. I'm just kidding. We didn't have a lot of sellers last night, but NXT did take over my house and TV, and I was glad it did because, like Woodard said, 5 stars all day, every day for some of the NXT stuff. And just the NXT show, it's just a better show quite a lot of times, But well, any final thoughts, Bueller?
On that show? Everyone on the NXT show last night, for all the matches, every one of them could be called up to the main roster.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Everyone that was on that show is that good that they should be on the main roster. There wasn't a weak person on that show that why they shouldn't be on the main roster. I mean, take a bunch of the guys that are there now, like apparently the Colognes.
Yeah.
And get rid of those guys.
You could build a tag team division maybe out of some of those.
But that's the problem, though. Bueller, I mean, there's no competition. These guys don't have anywhere to cut their teeth. And, like, if we go back to the WWE and WCW Monday Night Wars, and, I mean, you had great guys on both programs, and everybody was trying their ass off to do well. But now, all the talent's getting squashed. Yeah. You got to keep on force feeding everybody Brock when people like Shinsuke and Dolph and Finn and Seth are all getting buried under all the talent. I mean, Lashley, he was in one match tonight for 30 seconds. He held up Ray.
Yeah, he didn't do much at all.
Look, Shane really needs to be the sole survivor of the Smackdown team every year, all right?
Well, Chad just brought me down. Well, thanks a lot.
Well, damn, man. On that note, this show is over. All right, Bueller, final thoughts and shout-outs. What do you got going on Comics with Bueller this week?
Well, I have to do my coffee video right when we're done with this. So I'll be up late tonight editing that and putting that together for tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and then my regular stuff during the rest of the week. I do have my next Friday, or this coming Friday, after Thanksgiving. By the way, happy Thanksgiving to everybody on Thursday. At least everyone who in America that celebrates Thanksgiving.
Unity.
And because it is an American holiday for at least this time. But my guest, I'm going to have Reggie Simmons as my guest on Friday on my live stream at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time on Friday. So,
good. I'll be sure to go live right up on you. Head-to-head
That's
live shows. Let's do it. I'm just kidding. All right. What do you got going on, Chad?
So, we actually have something going on besides Comic Core. Maybe this week I'm going to be teaming up with somebody Dare to Defy. And Seawood and I are going to review Elseworld stories up until the Elseworld crossover on his channel, Seawoodard19.
Hashtag CW19, hashtag Dare to Defy. Man, that's going to be a great show. So if you're a fan of the CW DC superhero TV shows, they're going to be doing the big Elseworlds crossover event. So if you're big into Elseworlds, like Chad and Woodard are, make sure you check that show out. Now, is that going to be on Woodard19's channel?
We haven't gotten that far yet.
That's all right. Dare to Defy. Maybe it will be there. Maybe it won't be. C. Woodard, what do you got going on, Wood?
Yeah, I got the Tuesday night live stream. It should be on time this week. Hopefully work won't step in the way. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got some antique shop hauls today to show off on there. Some interesting reads from last week. Probably talk about some Fantastic Four #3, one of the best books of the year. Also, like Chad said, we'll be talking about some Elseworlds at some point on somebody's channel this week. TBD. Don't know the time on that one yet, but we'll probably talk about some Adventures of Superman annual / Superboy annual #1 from probably, 1994, 1995, whenever they had those Elseworlds. So we know we're going to be talking about that first and foremost. It was a phenomenal story, so look forward to that. And then happy Thanksgiving, obviously, to everybody. We'll be doing that on Thursday, I'm sure. And then Friday is the Comic Core, right after Bueller's live stream with Reggie Simmons, IFBB Pro, 10 p.m. Eastern. You never know what's going to happen on the Comic Core, so definitely tune in, check it out, see who's on the show. You never know. That's all I got.
You truly never know what's going to be on the Comic.
Yeah, exactly. You never know.
We're on the Comic Core, and we have no clue what's going to happen.
Double S brings a good question, Bueller. He says, did you say you were going to have Richard Simmons on the show?
No, I tried to get Richard Simmons. He's busy. So I decided to go with Reggie Simmons instead.
Reggie, the next best thing, man. If you can't get Richard, you got Reggie, man. That's going to be an awesome show. And make sure on Friday night y'all stay and watch some of that Comic Core, man. Watch Comic Core. It's going to be a great show. And like these guys say, you never know what's going to happen on the Comic Core. Also, pretty soon on the Great Legend Show, there's going to be a humongous announcement coming up soon. The Great Legend is partnering up with Strictly Comics, and we're going to be bringing something real special to the comic book community, but I can't let you know what that is just yet. You'll just have to make sure and click that bell icon so you know when the Great Legend will be coming at you live on youtube.com/r.e95. Well, that's about all we have for tonight. I think Sting is coming out of the rafters with the black baseball bat. So we're going to see you next time here on the Great Legend Show. This is the Great Legend saying peace out. God bless.
Future endeavors.